Today we're taking a look at the new StageConnect series that's pretty cool from Midas. So we're going to be using it with the M32. They're really designed to be used with the wing and anything that actually has StageConnect, but we'll show you just a little bit of what's going on here. So on this particular unit, you've got 16 outputs. They also make one that has 16 inputs and one that has 8 inputs and 8 outputs. So in a minute we're going to take a look at the other one that actually has the outputs. So rack rails, front looks pretty good. On the back of this, they ended up going with an external power supply, probably to be able to get the board and everything inside of it. You have a USB, you have 2 ultranet ports, and then you have your StageConnect actual in and out, and then selectors to where you can go between ultranet, slave, master if you're using StageConnect, and then individual and shared for the output mode. So pretty cool. We are coming into the ultranet input out of the ultranet output on the M32R. So quite a few different things that you can do with this, and we're going to go through a couple different options of what we think will be useful for this. First thing that you will want to do is go into routing, and then you'll go to P16. When you first go into routing, it's probably in your block inputs. So we will go over to P16, and then you can see that you have your 1 through 16, and this is truly for your P16s, but we're going to be able to use it in conjunction with this StageConnect piece. So you can route virtually anything that you want to. So you can have off your main outputs, your left, right, mono, center, your mix buses, 1 through 16. Then you get to go into your matrices, and then you have direct outs of every channel. And we're actually going to be using a direct out of a channel to show you something. So pretty cool, and you can have direct out of your effects, talkback mic, all sorts of good stuff. So we're going to take a look in just a second over here at our tap after we get the music and everything set up, and just explain to you the difference in the tap setting. So we have a bunch of different tap settings over here, so we're going to clear those up. So the first one, the N/LC, which we'll go ahead and activate that, is going to be pre-everything except for the high pass filter or low cut if you want to call it that, and then the gain. So we'll play some music here, and you can see that our gain actually makes a difference. And then you can hear this low cut. Whenever I activate it, we're getting rid of a lot of frequencies. So kind of making all of these very over dramatic to where you can actually hear the difference. So N/LC plus M adds the mute into there. So as you can see right now, we actually have the faders down. They make no difference, but the mute does mute. So then when we go to pre-EQ, this is going to add in our gate. So very dramatic gate. Make it super choppy. That way you can hear the gate is actually doing something. And then we'll go back into our routing and do pre-EQ plus mute. So we've got our gate turned back on, and our mute actually does something. We'll take that gate back off. So then we have our post-EQ. So post-EQ is going to allow us to have this over-dramatic EQ I've got going on. So this is with it, that's without it. And it had been on the whole time, but it's only effective now to what's going out once I've got it activated. And you can still use your gate. Now back to our routing. I think you're figuring this out by now. Post EQ plus M is going to be mute. Actually makes a difference. So then on our next one, pre-fader, we can finally add our comp in. So we've got a very dramatic comp setting here. You can hear when we turn it on that the makeup gain is making a huge difference on that. So then our next one we will go back to, sorry for being shaky, I'm trying to hold the mic receiver as well. Pre-fader plus M allows you to use your compressor and the mute. And then our last one is going to be post-fader. So on post-fader, we can actually use our faders. So post-fader has everything. You have mute, faders, gate, EQ, compression, high pass filter. So realistically, if you were trying to send this out to a recording console, I would use the N/LC. Or if you're trying to use it, as we're going to show you in a minute, as basically a, not a stage box, but a press box, sorry, the N/LC is good as well. So we'll show you there's a few different options, just depending on what you have to use it for, but that's just an explanation of our tap point on that side. So now we're going to show you how we can set this thing up to kind of use in a live situation. So we're going to go to 16, and we're going to make this be our main left output, and we're going to select post fader. So in doing that, now anything that goes to our main fader is going to be coming out of output 16. So we will play some music again, and we will find those faders. We can turn it up, and I'm plugged into 15, so that's not going to work. This might be a little loud. So, okay, good. So now we're in 16. You can hear that we have music. So being in post fader for our main output, you actually have control using the fader, which is what you want. And then anything that you insert on to this fader, you're going to end up having. So if you end up putting compression, EQ, whatever, should be great. And then whatever's going into that fader, you can still affect as well. So it's selected. We can have that gate going, the comp, the EQ. As you see, it's acting as if it is truly just your left-right output. So then we could take all of our other outputs and kind of set this up as an output box. So I'll try to be less shaky, but it's just kind of hard. So we go up to output 1, and then we would go to our mix bus 1, and whoops, I was on 2. So mix bus 1, trying to see over my hand, and then you can just basically set this up, mix bus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, 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 etc. And you could have it set up to where you have mix bus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for your first 12 outputs. Then you can use 13, 14, 15, and 16 as sub, front, fill, left, right, whatever you want to. Pretty much endless for this type of setup. But this is going to be cool for us because then we can set up one of these inexpensive boxes that just has outputs and be able to use it to get sources to things. So we can do quite a few monitor mixes off of it. You could do 16 monitor mixes if you wanted to. You could end up doing your left-right sub, front fill as we talked about, or a combination of all those, which is pretty nice. And then if it was a press event, you could have the middle ones all as a direct output of the podium mic that they needed. So there is that, and then we'll take a look at another feature that we can use this for. So what we've done on this setting is we have inputs 1 through 16 are all set to direct out of channel 26 with the tap in LC. So in doing this, we are essentially turning this into a press box, which is pretty nice. So using this as a press box, we would be able to get all 16 of these as the same output, which would be nice. So if for some reason you knew you just had to have a single microphone, then you could end up doing this to where all 16 of those outputs are that single microphone. So it works out great if you're having a press conference and that's all you're going to have is that one input. And when the press come, they don't really care about any of the audio except for that microphone. And this gives them the ability back in the studio to mix it however they want to because your EQ didn't change anything. So that does work out great if the video crew does actually go back and fix audio in post. If not, you can use a different tap up here and actually give them a tap that is, we'll go back up since I've got the focus set, get back in the same place. You could give them a tap of pre-fader basically, and that would end up, if you did all the settings on the channels as pre-fader, they would end up getting everything you've got plus compression, EQ. Now if it's a terrible room, this might not be a great idea, but it could help their feed to sound better. So we'll come back and have another option too. So this is a little bit different here. What we're going to end up doing is we have inputs 1 through 16 as matrix 1, and they're all set to post fader. So then you can go to your main fader, hit select, and then you can actually change your sends to where their main fader is going to matrix 1. So then when you turn matrix 1 up, for whoever's out there. So we'll hit our matrix button, and you have matrix 1 turned up. That's allowing anything coming out of your left-right feed to come to all 16 of these individually. So if you had a bunch of really picky people with Zoom recorders, or people that just needed a recording of the mix that you've got, you could set up all of these to like 6 different matrices if you wanted to. So you could have output 1 and 2 as 1, 3 and 4 as 1, 5 and 6. And if you ended up doing the same thing I showed you, the left-right, you'd have individual volume control based off what the people do. Because some people don't understand the difference between line and mic mode, so you'd end up having to keep your fader way down. That way you're not clipping out their unit. And then some people don't understand how to adjust their stuff, and you'd have to max out some of them. So this is another option, just to use this output box without messing up any of your other output boxes. They're going through your AES to your left-right output. So pretty cool option that never was available before. You'd end up eating up some of your actual true outputs and routing, which we'll go back to those. You would be eating up these in the past to do things, and now we're not, which is great. So glad Midas has released this version, or Behringer, whatever you want to call it. I'm surprised they didn't put this as a Clark Technics piece, to be honest, but maybe there's a reason for that. So really cool. Let us know your thoughts. There are so many different options that you can do for this. You can actually have this guy living in a basically an in-ear rack, and you could be coming out of it and use it to use all your mix buses, stereo mix buses, into the in-ear monitors and use it for that. So let us know the other thoughts that you have and other uses that you can think of that you can use this for, and just let us know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and we will get you some more information on these other ones. So the only other thing I can tell you, the one that is the input module, which is this little guy, a lot of people are purchasing these thinking that they have preamps. They do not have preamps. So unless you are using this as a line level input, or you're using it for wireless mics that have their own preamp in them, this box is not going to be useful for you. So have a great day, and just let us know what you think.